white rice has become vilified in the fitness community. It's like, we don't like white rice. We want to put it in jail. We're going to push for the death penalty, but we'll take life imprisonment if we can't get there. Simon Motherboard a-hole here, sending my love and best wishes to you. Unless you don't want that, then I retract it and I send you hate and bad fortune. But nobody wants that. If you are wondering, yes, I'm wearing a t-shirt with He-Man who's in the gym. I'm a guy in his 30s, and I have no shame in doing that. In fact, it could be one of my favorite t-shirts I own. Look how flipping ripped He-Man is. It's absolutely ridiculous. And he's got better hair than I. We all need to be He-Man. Anyway, today we are going to talk about muscle building foods, the stereotypical ones, well, some are stereotypical, that everybody thinks they need to eat when it comes to diets and fitness and losing weight and putting on weight and all this kind of stuff. But you don't. You are able to eat them. I want to make that very clear before we get into it. There's nothing wrong with eating them, but sometimes people, well, they just get sold, not a lie, but they get sold a myth, essentially. They think they have to be eating these certain things. Like, you don't have to have chicken, for example. That's not on this list. Chicken's amazing because it's basically, here's some protein slob on your plate. And you're like, oh, awesome. But again, there's this idea that, again, chicken and rice, chicken and rice, chicken and rice. That is not how bodybuilding and lifting weights works. I feel like we've moved on from that. Again, you're allowed to do it if you want. But yeah, here are 10 muscle building, bodybuilding, fitness foods that everybody goes to all the time, but you really don't need to. Number 10 is always the controversial one, and we are talking about peanut butter or nuts. Now look, peanut butter and nuts are an excellent source of healthy fats. They're really, really good. And if you are going to snack on that compared to throwing your ass into some ice cream, don't do that because it's weird and probably some kind of sexual fetish. Make sure that you have the nuts and make sure you have the peanut butter. The problem, not even a problem, the mistake that people make is they use it as a protein source. And the protein macronutrients of peanut butter aren't that great, especially when you compare it to the amount of calories and the amount of fat that you're going to take in. And again, I know it's healthy fat, but you still don't want to end up having 300 grams of fats a day, unless you're doing some kind of, high fat diet, but that's not what this video is about. So you don't have to put it in your diet. And the other thing I always see is, you see people having like peanut butter powder, and you shouldn't do that because it's removed all the healthy fats. Well, no, you should be making sure you're getting healthy fats from elsewhere, be it, I don't know, avocados, or I'm not going to list all that kind of stuff. But it means you can have sort of quote unquote healthier peanut butter, but just use it as a calorie source, to be honest, because it tastes good. And that's what I'm talking about. So I'm certainly not telling you to quit peanut butter. I am telling you just to flip it back over, see how many calories are in the thing, because 9 times out of 10 people are having too much. Like, you buy those packs of nuts, they're called protein power nuts, at the service station or when you want some snacks, and you actually turn it on and go, man, these are quite calorific. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't be eating them, but massively important to know that 1, you don't have to, and 2, you may be having a few too many. Number 9 is whole milk. I don't understand why anybody has whole milk, because it all depends on what you want to do in a day, but it is way, way calorific. It's got a bunch of sugar in there. There's so many other nicer things you could be doing. And again, people think that they should drink it for protein. I'm like, have you seen how much protein is in this? It's not the greatest protein source in the world. It's not going to change your life. And then I think this all came from the idea of the milk diet. You can look it up now. People are still doing it, where they said, if you want to put on some serious weight, drink milk all the time. I could come up with that. I could come up with the tomato diet. Eat a bunch of tomatoes and you'll get really big. I mean, you'd have to eat a hell of a lot of tomatoes. I guess the idea of milk is it's easy to drink, right? Because milk tastes good. And if you have to drink 4 gallons of milk a day, asterisk, never drink 4 gallons of milk a day unless a doctor tells you need to, otherwise you're going to die. But it's really simple. You can buy one of those big cartons and you can just glug it back, and you look and you probably had like 1,500, 2,000 calories. So I suppose if you're desperate to put on weight, yes, but whole milk, you just don't need it. You just don't. I think most people are going to start putting on some serious bad weight if they over rely on whole milk. You can have semi-skimmed, you can have skimmed, you can have almond milk, you can have oat milk. Actually, oat milk has more calories than regular milk, but maybe you just prefer it. But the point is, almond milk is my staple. Almond milk is good. You have your good fats we've already talked about. It's got like 13 calories per 100 milliliters. And I think semi-skim milk, I can't remember what whole milk is, but semi-skim is like 53 calories. And of course, the semi-skimmed milk tastes better, but you just do not need it should you not want. And I still see people in the comments and just on fitness YouTube in general advocating you must drink some milk. Why you be a child? No, just Arnie said that. That's not true. It doesn't make you a child. You just don't need it. Number 8 is red meat. This is a classic stereotype, a classic old school bodybuilder kind of thing. Oh, I wake up and I have steak and eggs. Great meal, high in protein, but red meat is also really high in fat, unless you get a lean cut, but it's also really high in calories. So it's just another thing you need to be aware of. People just stuff it into their face because they think, well, I know there's loads of protein in this, so I'm going to have like 24 steaks a day. And then when you walk past fields where there's cows, they're like, oh, is that guy? He's eating Steve. Because Steve is the cow that you consumed in a 24-hour period. So it does have its benefits. Of course it does. But there is this idea that it's some magic protein building, number one essential thing that you have to have it in a diet. And I'll tell you what I did. I used to have red meat sort of a few times a week, but I cut it out. And actually the reason I cut it out is because of everything going on with the environment and diets and the advice that we're getting from the government. And I was like, you know what? That's probably something that I can eradicate from my diet and it's not going to make a blind bit of difference. And it's not. And the cool thing was when I actually sort of took a step back and figured out, okay, well, if I'm removing the calories from red meat, where can I get other calories from? It was like, oh man, I can have so much more chicken or tuna or whatever because again, they're lower dense calories foods. And I'm like, well, that's awesome because I just want to eat all the time. That's my secret thing. If I didn't go to the gym and do cardio, I'd be a BFG. We've talked about this. No, not BFG. Was it BFG? Yeah, big fat guy. I'd be a big fat guy. I'd be a big fat guy all the time. And ain't no Roald Dahl writing a book about that, mostly because Roald Dahl is dead. But he wrote about a big friendly giant, but you've never seen novels about the big fat guy, and therefore you don't want to become it. Number 7 is a little bit of a weird one, and I'm a massive advocate for whey protein shakes. I think they're a great thing because the clue's in the title, right? They're a supplement, which means if you're struggling to get enough protein from regular ass food in throughout the day, drink a drink full of protein. That's going to make your life way easier. And hey, you know what? If you want to have all your meals from protein, you shouldn't, but you certainly can. Nobody is going to stop you. But it all ties into the same thing, a lot of these things. You do not have to be on protein supplement. Some people are like, I hate whey protein, and I hate egg protein, and I hate beef protein, and I hate, rice protein. I hate all these proteins. And but I have to suffer through it because I go to the gym. No, you don't need to do that. Like the cool thing about a whey protein shake is that it's going to be absorbed really quickly. So if for some reason your body is desperate to get protein in its lungs and loins and everything else so quickly, you can do that. But chicken, again, has protein in it. Eggs have protein in it. Fish has protein in it. There's so many other sources you can get protein from. Don't feel forced into a corner just because every single fitness company on the planet is screaming protein shake at you. It's become cool. And the reason it's become cool is because they're making money. I always rant about this. But there was a time where there was no tax on fitness products because they weren't making any money. And then as soon as they did, the government went, 20%. And they smacked it on there. So it's not a big deal. And, don't worry about the cheap stuff either. People are like, oh, well, that protein only costs this much. Sure, it's not as good as the super expensive stuff, but we're talking minimal differences. It's not like if you take a 20-pound tub of whey protein, it won't taste as nice compared to a 50-pound tub. You don't turn into the Hulk in a week because you're on the isolated, filtered 100% stuff. No, it's still all protein. Your body is still going to deal with it in relatively the same way. So do not buy into this idea that now you go to the gym, you have to start taking protein shakes. And protein shakes are great. They just released a Malteser one, and I've already ordered it. I need to try it. So you can have a lot of fun with them, but it's not essential, ever. Number 6 is brown rice. And this is all the comments will be about, and I get it. White rice has become vilified in the fitness community. It's like, we don't like white rice. We want to put it in jail. We're going to push for the death penalty, but we'll take life imprisonment if we can't get there. And the reason for this is because of the GI index. And I don't know if people know what that is, so I'll explain it. It just means that the higher you are on the GI index, the quicker it gets absorbed into your system, right? So things like sugar, for example, will be super high on the GI index. And they say to stay away with that stuff because it's better to eat foods that are low on the GI index because they'll be slowly absorbed and slowly digested, and they'll give you energy for a longer time. You won't spike your glycogen levels, and it's less likely to turn to fat. So roughly, brown rice on the GI index is around about 58, and white rice is around about 50. I've got that wrong. Brown rice is around about 50, and white rice is 58. I should also point out I'm talking about basmati rice here, in case you're interested, because I know there's 47,800 variations of rice. We're not talking about a huge leap either, but what everybody forgets is that unless you're sitting there with a bowl of rice and a fork, lovely, delicious rice, you'll be eating it with other things. And when you combine foods together, that changes the GI value of the food because your body has to digest it as one. So if you're having chicken, white rice, broccoli, vegetables. Maybe you have some peanut butter with it too. All of that is going to come together. And again, the variation between the two is going to be so minimal. If you'd rather have basmati rice over brown rice, you can. The health benefits to eating brown rice compared to white rice is super minimal. And again, I'll always caveat that with your body may be different, right? Maybe you eat brown rice and you don't put on the bad weight, and you have white rice and you do. Okay, cool. You know what to cut out. You know what shifts to make. But on a fundamental level, we need to give white rice a break. Brown rice still nice. I like both types. Some people don't even like rice. My man Greg Doucette he's not on the rice bandwagon at all, and that's good for him. You know, he makes a really, really good point. But if you think you're going to sit down and have 50 grams of rice only if it's white, that is not a problem. You're not going to die. Number 5 is smoothies. Now, I like smoothies a lot, but it kind of ties into the whey protein thing. You know, you're drinking a lot of your calories, so it's not going to fill you up. You're going to be hungry, but also not ones you make at home, but it's the ones that you get from the supermarket or the shop or the grocery store. Or you get those like smoothie bars. They are crazy, crazy high in calories. And again, it's fine if it fits with the calories you're trying to eat in a day. But what I find is people don't realize that. And because they say it's got fruit and vegetables and who knows what else in it, they miss the fact that they're using whole milk or they're sneaking something else in there. I was at a juice bar the other day. I thought, I'm going to have one of these protein smoothies. And they had all the calories on it. It was 850 calories. So I could smash a burger for that. I'm not going to drink 850 calories unless it's a milkshake. Then you're talking over 1,000, but it doesn't matter. It's become kind of a trend that you wake up, oh, it's breakfast time. Gonna have my breakfast smoothie. It's not, again, just make sure you know what's going in. Try and make your own if you can. But yeah, this is more about when you're out and about. And it's fine if you need food and you think, I fancy a smoothie. Awesome. Have a great time. Enjoy it like a roller coaster. But yeah, they're not these super healthy things that everybody thinks they are. Number 4 ties into that because it's all about fruit juices. Apple juice, orange juice, pineapple juice, pear juice. I don't know. It may exist. This is probably in the minority, but I saw a couple of comments who thought that orange juice didn't have any calories in it because it's fruit. Now, a lot of orange juices you get it actually have added sugar. I think most people know that, but maybe you don't. And even the natural stuff, fruit has calories. Of course it does. What do you think fruit is? Do you know how excited I would be if fruit had no calories? Maybe you can get super low calorie food like blueberries and strawberries. Strawberries especially. Strawberries per 100 grams have like, 0.0 of a calorie. It's not true. It's about 50 or something. But that's amazing. I was like, oh wow, strawberries are great. But yeah, I see so many people again waking up, and Instagram especially. Here I am with my orange juice, super healthy. And it's like, you don't know that there's calories in that. Not saying not to drink fruit juice. Absolutely not. Again, it's just to make sure that you're aware of what's going in you and you don't fall into these. Is it a lie? It's not a lie. It's just weird. Number 3 is bagels. Now, I love a bagel. A smoked salmon and cream cheese bagel, I would probably push an old woman to get to. As long as I knew the old woman was going to fall into a nice pillow and have like a nice day. I'd have to have that caveat. Point is, I really like bagels. And there's a shop in London on Brick Lane that serves the best bagels you ever have in your damn life. But anytime I pick up a health magazine or I read a fitness book or anything, they always say, oh, just have a bagel with a protein shake. I'm like, what kind of meal is that? A bagel with a protein shake? A bagel is just heavy calorie, heavy dense bread, right? And I ain't got nothing against eating bread. Again, you know my shtick, calories in, calories out, boring. But the bagel is not, people think it's some kind of super protein food, and I don't understand why. It's like, that's just loads of carbs and loads of calories. Why do they taste so good? That's the real shitter about life, is if it tastes really good and you really enjoy it, it's probably packed full of carbs and packed full of calories and packed full of fat and all these things that you don't want in your life. So if you ever read an article that says, meal 1, protein shake and a bagel. Meal 3, protein shake as a bagel. Hey, as a snack, why don't you have a protein shake and a bagel? Just take a step back and try and figure out what the hell they're on. I bet you turn the page and there'll be an advert for some bagels. And then you can raise your eye like, well, I knew something fishy was going on. As always, can you fit bagels into a healthy diet? Absolutely. But they are way high in calories, so you got to be careful. Number 2 is sports drinks. They have a purpose because, they will fuel your workouts, but they are also rammed full of sugar. A friend of mine was basically addicted to Lucozade because he just thought that they were healthy, simply because they have a picture of some guy running on the front. That was pretty much the extent of it. They're just fizzy drinks. And they do have electrolytes in it and stuff like that, but you can just drink some water if you want that. Well, not electrolytes. Well, you can. It's pretty much exactly the same thing, but not really. So be careful with sports drinks. They are not some, again, magic potion that there's a reason you get energy when you drink them, and that's because, again, they got loads of sugar in them, and that converts to, you know all this. You know the deal. You know how it works. So I won't name any because you know what they are, and I don't know if I get in trouble. Would I? Probably not. But I would not, they're not health drinks, right? They're sports drinks. So it's fine if you are working out really hard, you'll probably use those calories. But yeah, I just find it mad when people just they buy those huge 6-packs of Lucozade and they drink them in a day. And they think that's like kind of part of some healthy diet. I'm like, that's the maddest thing I've ever heard. And number one is nothing. That's right. It doesn't make any sense. How can you eat nothing? Well, some people do. Some people, truly believe that if you want to lose weight or you want to get in shape, you just stop eating and you starve yourself, or you don't eat breakfast, or you don't do that. I'm not talking about intermittent fasting. That's a tried and tested technique. I'm talking about the people that look at themselves, go, I'm overweight, I'm just going to stop eating food. Or at least, go down to a crazy, crazy low-calorie diet. And it's like, never, ever, 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 ever do that. It's not going to work. Even if you are able to lose some weight, eventually your body's going to shut down because, surprise, surprise, we need food. But also, when you reintroduce food, which you will have to do at some point, otherwise, terrible things will happen, your body will not know how the hell to process it, and you're going to pile back on all the pounds. There is no quick fix for any of this. There's no cheat. There's no magic door that you can walk through, and not eating food, and you're going to be miserable, and you're not going to be happy, and then you just have crazy cravings. That's the worst thing when you go on these fasting diets. You have crazy cravings for everything because your brain goes into hyper mode, like, give me the food, give me the food, give me the food, give me the food. And you don't give it the food, so the next day it goes, give me the food, give me the food, and it starts shouting at you. But if you actually, feed it and give yourself nutrients and all of that, it won't be as much of an asshole. So never eat nothing is my point. Never eat nothing. Nen. Never eat nothing. Yeah, that's my thing. Nen. That's my new thing. So, but yeah, I get it all the time. People say, I'm overweight. Should I just cut all these calories? And you should, but take your time. Drop out 100 calories here and there. Drop out whatever. Maybe just look at your diet and make replacements. If you're having pizza every day, change it to, chicken and rice. Not that, but you know what I mean. Make healthy substitutions. That's a huge jump you can make. We kind of talked about fizzy drinks. I always say this. If you look at your diet and you're having 2 fizzy drinks a day, just get rid of them and replace it with water, or even replace them with diet fizzy drinks, and you probably just saved yourself, 300 calories or something? I actually don't know how many calories is in a fizzy drink, but that's a lot. And you didn't even do anything. You just made a shift, and that's without doing exercise and having a program to work towards. So nothing is not the answer. Nen. There you go, 10 foods everybody thinks they need to take, but you absolutely don't. And really, you can kind of craft a fitness diet to suit you once you know what you're doing. It takes a little while, but you can be eating nice food and be healthy. What a crazy world that is. Like the video, share the video, smash that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. Hit the bell, ding ding, so you know about more videos. Got a Patreon, got Instagram, got Twitter, got merchandise. It's all in the description down there. Click the link, see if it takes your fancy. Thank you so much for watching me again, and I'll see you again soon.